What's up, Vinyl community? Cliff the Vinyl Cheapskate here. And tonight, we're doing the Punk Tag 2022. I did this yesterday, and I cut out half the video by accident. So now, this is the redo of Punk Tag 2022. This was put up by Tommy's Vinylnaut. Awesome channel, check him out, he's from Finland. Always showing cool, like, punk, hardcore, metal stuff, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of other stuff. He's been being plagued by the vinyl community. What is the vinyl community police? They've been really hassling him a lot lately. But really cool of him to put this up, and we appreciate it, and thanks for coming up with all these questions. Cheers. So let's get started. First one is a punk album from 2021, and that's what we're listening to now. This is a band called Gulpe. They're from Italy. Put out on Sorry State Records. These guys are like angrier, Discharge kind of, like deep beat, hardcore punk stuff. Really cool, like driving stuff, bouncy, like in your face riffs. Really good stuff. Gulpe from Italy on Sorry State Records. Cool stuff. So that's number one. That's album from 2021. Next, reissue from 2021, and I'm gonna go with Totalitar Nimas Bort. Another hardcore one. More bouncy hardcore, like in your face hardcore, kind of deep beat, Swedish hardcore giants. Totalitar. Prank re-released this earlier this year, and I was super stoked. Hopped right on the pre-order train. It's on white vinyl. Pretty cool stuff. But Totalitar Nimas Bort reissue 2021. Next, my first punk record. My first punk record was actually one that was this was a group of guys that I went to high school with, and they started a punk band and started doing shows and stuff. They were doing shows. I'm originally from the Philly area. They started doing shows in Philly and stuff, and this is the record they put out, their EP that they put out. What you don't know, they can't lie to you about. This is really cool, like just like straight up, like snotty, kind of crusty punk stuff. Really cool on Beer City Records. So back in the day, I think Beer City, if you paid them, they would put out your record. You basically had to pay for it, and then they just put their label on it. I think that's the way it worked back then. I'm not sure. But yeah, cool stuff. This was a bunch of guys that lived around the corner from me. Actually, the guy that played drums for this was actually the dude that got me into punk rock. He gave me a tape that had Minor Threat and Misfits. Minor Threat on one side, Misfits on the other. And I was listening to, like, I was like a teenage kid. I was like 13, 14, listening to like Nirvana and Korn and stuff. And then he gave me that Misfits and Minor Threat tape, and my brain just went. I was like, this is what it is from here on out. But yeah, cool stuff. And this Brian song, that's still a friend of mine. He lives in Philly still, and old friend of mine. Cool stuff though. Excellent punk rock stuff. Check this out if you can find it. That's the Beer City label. Next is Show a 10-inch record. Devoid of Faith. This is Devoid of Faith is late 90s, early 2000s. They put out a ton of stuff. Cool, like fast hardcore stuff. I wouldn't say it fastcore. Fastcore is kind of like I feel like fastcore doesn't like really have much like like songwriting going on. This has some good songwriting. It's got good parts, really good riffs all the way through. The Void of Faith, I feel like, is an underrated band, and I love this band. Some people might get put off by the vocals, they say Cookie Monster vocals, but fuck that. It's good stuff. Check out the Void of Faith if you get a chance. Next, a comp. Here's another one that's from the Philly area. Philly Shreds Volume 1 on Schuylkill Records. Schuylkill Records was like a local record label in Philadelphia in the like mid to late 90s. But this record has like a great snapshot of like mid to late 90s, like the mid to late 90s punk scene in Philly. These are all the bands I'd go see when I was going to see bands in high school. I'd go see like Violent Society. I missed Discogs. I never got to see Discogs, and that makes me sad because I became friends with Tony from Discogs. He was a dishwasher at a restaurant that I worked at, a health food store that I worked at. And Tony was the dishwasher. Me and him became really good friends. Lime Cell, Rizzo Machine, Fire Pussy. I got to see the Boyles a bunch, Anal Sausage, Ink and Dagger, Flag of Democracy. This is just a really cool snapshot, this album, of that period of time in the Philadelphia punk scene. And it comes on this really cool, like, blue and white splatterish vinyl. And it came with an extra CD that has Anal Sausage and, yeah, Manual 7, Fire Pussy. Kill the Man Who Questions is on there, too. Now, they were friends of mine that I saw a lot. Kill the Man Who Questions. Great band. Yeah. So, Philly Shreds comp. Schuylkill Records. And this is where I screwed up last time. I pushed stop instead of pause. I'm going to go flip this record, but I'm going to pause it this time. All right, moving on through. Next, show a 70s punk record. 70s punk record. I'm just going to go basic. Super basic, but still great fucking record. Clash, Give 'Em Enough Rope. This is a re-release from like the 2000s sometime. Yeah, see, it came with this little hype sticker here. Audio file pressing, blah, 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 blah. Sounds good. Looks good. Fun stuff. The Clash. I'm not going too far into that, because everybody knows The Clash. Either you like The Clash or you don't like The Clash. Some people like certain Clash albums, not other Clash albums. This is a good one. Solid all the way through. Great. Guns on the Roof. European Home. What's the other ones? Tommy Gun. This is a great album. Just excellent stuff all the way through. Cool album. Next, show an 80s hardcore record. This one's for you, Tommy. Aristotat, Schizophrenia. Finnish hardcore. This is a classic album from 1983. I think it's from 83. If not, let me know in the comments. I might be wrong. Cool stuff. Schizophrenia. This is a re-release or a boot of some sort. It's not an original. I can't afford that shit. I'm a vinyl cheapskate. I can't afford original stuff. Post-punk record. I'm going a little weird with the post-punk. I'm going with a post-punk revival band called Chain Cult. And, well, it's post-punk or crossover. I went the post-punk route. This band does, like, kind of like, I wouldn't say upbeat, but faster tempo, kind of Joy Division type stuff. But this band's from Greece. Really cool. They just put out an EP this year that I've been meaning to pick up, in 2021 that I've been meaning to pick up. But Chain Cult, this is only their like second album, I think. I think they've one before this. Cool stuff. If you like that, like kind of like It's kind of like gothy post-punk stuff, but like mixed with hardcore and punk. It's sweet. That's the inner sleeve. Pretty cool stuff. Basic ass labels. But this is a cool record. On La Vida S and Muse. Great label. That label really, like, if you see this on a punk record, you're pretty much guaranteed that it's gonna be pretty fucking good. Next is a Friends band. Dystima is a punk band from Philly. I lived with Steve for a long time. My basement was their practice space, so I got to become really good friends with everybody in this band. All the various drummers. This band was started by the same guy that was in this band. The Double Cross that I showed earlier was started by the same guy. He introduced me to all these guys. And he kind of fell off the face of the earth, and they had to find other drummers. So they went through like a cycling of drummers. And I don't know who's on this one. I don't remember who's on this one, but Jay and Rob and Steve, they all started another band called Nightfall. That's basically just the three of them. And Jay's a killer drummer, so he went and played drums, played guitar in this. But this band is like kind of like Scandinavian hardcore / Discharge Worship. Very good stuff. Solid songwriting. Cool art aesthetics on here, and yeah, just cool stuff. If you find Dystima stuff, they're not super well known, I don't think, but they're really good. So check them out if you get a chance. Dystima. Female fronted band. Go with Arctic Flowers from Canada. Great, just punk. This is just punk as fuck. Good punk rock stuff. What I really like about this album is cool driving bass lines. And Lee, the bassist, she does a great job on those bass lines. Excellent stuff. On Deranged Records. Check this out if you get a chance. Arctic Flowers. A record on my favorite punk label. Go with His Heroes Gone, 15 Counts of Arson. This is one of my favorite records ever. And this one falls a little more, it's like kind of metallic hardcore stuff. It's not metalcore by any means. There's a lot of grindcore in here, a lot of crust punk feels and grindcore feels in here. It's on Prank Records, which I love Prank Records. They've been doing great stuff. And they just resurfaced like a few years ago. They kind of like took a really long hiatus and came back. And now they're re-releasing a bunch of stuff that I've been wanting to pick up for a long time, and I love it. But yeah, His Hero's Gone, 15 Counts of Arson, Prank Records. Great album. Cool stuff right here. Most Valuable, and I just looked up on Discogs. AFI, Black Sails in the Sunset. I think this was going for like $175, and that's on the high end. That's not the median. I just went highest price period, just not even worrying about like if it's the median, the low end, whatever. I don't really care. But this one AFI, Black Sails in the Sunset, purple vinyl. I think that's what it is. It's the purple vinyl. People go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over this band, and I liked this band to a point. This is probably my favorite of theirs. That's why I own it on vinyl. But yeah, AFI, Black Sails in the Sunset. I've had this forever. I think somebody bought this for me in 2003 for a Christmas present. Oh, and I've just had it forever. local punk band. This is another one. Friends of mine. These guys used to come stay with us when we lived in Philly. A Warm Gun. The name of the album is Panic in the Face of Time. These guys are a Baltimore band. I live in Baltimore now, so I'm going local band to me right now in Baltimore. Baltimore, Maryland. And the guys in this band I've known for a really long time. And they're really cool, like grindy, hardcore stuff. They're in a band now called Musket Hawk, which is also really good, like kind of grindy stuff. But it's more like grindy, hardcore, metal. It's like a mishmash of a bunch of different stuff, and it's really cool. Check them out. A Warm Gun is the name of the album, is the name of the band, and the album is Panic in the Face of Time. Cool stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's put that on. I'll be right back. All right. Warm Gun playing right now. Like I said, kind of on the hardcore end. They get grindy. But I still consider it a punk band. They're like a DIY punky band. So they do all this themselves and through really small labels. Like I said, they're in a band called Musket Hawk now. Next, got a couple more. Album I bought from a gig. Go with. There's a 7-inch here. Bought this from a gig a few years ago. But this is a band called Tarantella. They were a newer incarnation of a band called Kulu, and their drummer died, so they changed their name and went into this band that did like kind of the same thing, but they added a little rock and roll to it. Because the Kulu was more just like straightforward, really fast, hardcore stuff, but really good, really well done. And then they did Tarantula, which was next. And they're more of like they do a lot of like straightforward hardcore stuff, but they're also throw a little bit of rock and roll in there. And then they moved on to become a band called the Maneaters, and they had even more rock and roll in them, and they're really good too. So they just put out a new album this year. I haven't picked it up yet, or last year. I haven't picked it up yet. But Tarantula, boom, good stuff. Next. Oh wait, no, Fun Name was first. Sorry, I swapped that. So that was bought from the gig. Fun Name is Gordon Soley motherfuckers. It's a Tony Erba project. They just do fastcore, fast Albany hard. Not, I wouldn't say fastcore, but fast hardcore stuff. Really good, fun stuff. You can find this for a good price. I would do it. This actually is worth some dough, and I was surprised. Like, I think this is worth a little bit of money, and I'm not sure why. It's a pretty DIY thing. It's one of the early 625 thrashcore albums. Great stuff. Something I'd listen to before a gig. Discharge, sing-along. You gotta have a sing-along before the gig. I mean, these two are kind of interchangeable. The next one too, but Discharge, the Decontrol singles. This just has all the good stuff. All the singles are on here, so you get all the good, like, classic albums. And like, if you're hanging out before a show, you can just sing along with all your buddies to any of the Discharge singles, and that's just how it rolls. And a record that I would drink alone to, Minor Threat, Out of Step. I know, straight edge band. Ian MacKaye would have hated that this would be a Drink Alone 2 album when he put it out. But I love this album. I could potentially listen to this anytime and just be happy that it's on. And you will never find me change a track on this album ever. And this is cool because I found this in the wild at a record store. It was only like $15. I was just paying no more than $2.50, but I found it in the mid 2000s. This is from the 80s. I think this is early pressing, early UK pressing. And what's cool about this is it came with this sick insert too. It's got the insert and everything on it. This is one of my favorite albums of all time, and I'm super stoked that it's still around. One that I never got rid of through all of the bunch of purges where I did get rid of things that I regretted, and I got this and didn't regret it. Pretty sick stuff. Minor Threat, Out of Step. Record I drank alone to. And that's it. Vinyl Tag 2022. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope I didn't erase it by accident this time. That'd be good. Cheers, everybody. Have a good weekend.